Hey, it's James, Father's Rights and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. So I'm going to talk about a couple of people who benefited from consults with me, including a guy who won in court today and is making great progress in his case. Because there's people out there who, they pass by my videos, they're like, hey, you got a free video on this, a free video on that? I just want a little quickie this and a quickie that. Hey, can you answer me in the comments, how do I get ready for trial? Which is a 5-hour answer at minimum if you want to learn anything. So I'm going to share a couple of stories for the benefit of sharing the stories, but also, like, you're missing out on this information while people are sitting there watching me and watching me and watching me, and you're losing in court and you're losing in court, and your attorney's not fighting for you, your attorney's not telling you what's going on, you don't even know how to light a fire under your attorney, and I got a whole bunch of answers, and people won't get a consult with somebody with the answers. Why? Because you feel ripped off by your attorney after you spent $20, $50, $100,000 on them, and you're still with attorneys. And then you won't spend a few $20 bills on me to talk for an hour, hour and a half, and learn 10 times as much as you've ever heard from your attorney. This stuff doesn't make any sense. I've overwhelmingly proved that I know what I'm talking about. I've overwhelmingly proved that I've won in court, showing you my winning orders. There's testimonials everywhere, and people still just want the quickie, lazy, quick answer. And I know it's human nature. I just got done talking to an extremely highly intelligent professional who deals with all kinds of people in the medical world and is an expert witness in court. And we were talking about the nature of business and how 90% of people don't want services. They want to take advantage. They want a free ride. They don't want to, put it, and she was talking about, like, people's health. They don't want to invest in their own health. They want to pay a doctor to give them a medicine that makes it all go away, and don't want to fix, whatever they need to fix or whatever. It's part of the human nature, and there's partly extreme laziness or, the generation that we're in with everything is touch button. And fast food or microwave, fast food drive-through type of quickie answers at, click of a mouse. You can order something on Amazon real quick. But anyway, there's a guy today, he got emergency restraining order against the mother. And most of you will never even think to even try and do that because your attorney tells you not to, and you listen to your attorney and you obey like a good little mind slave, brainless zombie who just follows your attorney around and does everything without questioning. And that's where we get the term sheep from. The average human isn't going to participate in any kind of revolution or a fix. Even I'm trying to help fix the court system one case at a time. The average person doesn't even want to do that. They don't even want to work on their own case. People will call me and say, oh, I want a consult. And then 2 days later, I really want a consult. And then I'm like, okay, what day and time? I got this going on and that going on and that going on and this going on and that going on. Let me tell you about my story and my day and the weather and everything else except, like, getting down to business and confronting what they need to deal with. People want to avoid, procrastinate, and all that stuff. I don't got time for that. I'll ask people what day and time, and then that's about it. And they want to sit there and talk to me and send me stuff and text me stuff and tell their whole story without actually getting solutions. I don't have time for all that. Do you want some help? Yes, let's move forward. I got plenty of people who call me up and say, James, I just saw your video. I need to talk to you now. How do I pay you? When can we talk? I'll say I'm available now or tomorrow first thing in the morning. I want to talk now. Boom. Paid, ready to go, and we're getting stuff resolved. Why can't you do that? Why are you putting it off? You're hoping and wishing the attorney will do it for you one more time. They fail. Well, I'll give them one more chance. I'll give them one more chance. I'll give them another chance. Anyway, so this dad got a restraining order against the mother. She's restrained from coming near the kid's school during his pickup time. The reason why, this is a little bit tricky. The mom has a restraining order against him. The court found he committed domestic violence by just being scary and threatening, all the intangible, invisible domestic violence that doesn't even really exist half the time. So anyway, she's got a protection order. She comes to the visitation exchanges and walks up really close to him and hands over the child, but she's got a protection order. But the only exception is the visitation exchange. So he's not dangerous for that moment in time. It doesn't make any sense, but he's supposed to take domestic violence classes and treatment and all that stuff, and he did that, but the mother and one judge complained that he didn't do it at the specific one the court recommended. So the father, after consultation after consultation with this guy, spent $10,000-$20,000 on attorneys, and he's gotten screwed. He gets every weekend, and he gets a couple midweek visits for 4 hours. Now, but he's restrained from the mother. But he gets to see the kid overnight and on weekends. But he doesn't get the weekdays until he completes DV class. He completed DV class. The mother let him have it. And then some judge was tripping out on him saying, oh, well, you took the wrong DV class or wrong DV provider. So the mother is saying, I'm not going to give you the Tuesdays and Thursdays anymore. So he decides, well, I'm going to go to the school and pick up the kid. And the mother says, I'll show up at the school and I'll call the cops because I got a restraining order against you. So this guy, now remember, he's restrained from her, but he went to court and clarified, got a judge to clarify the original order that said it doesn't have to be that specific DV provider. That was the one recommended by the court. He could do any qualified one, so he completed the recommended treatment. So he's back on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But the mother says, no, I don't believe it. And the mother just got found in contempt. So this guy's growing balls to do all kinds of stuff. Got the mother found in contempt. Most of you won't even try to do a contempt motion because you're a sissy, coward, or you're dumb, and you listen to your attorney who says, oh, let's just wait a year from now at trial and bring it up while you get deprived of your kid. Contempt is to coerce compliance with the court order, to fix a court, to force coercion by the finding of contempt, threatening of jail time, threatening of a fine, whatever, to coerce the person to comply with an order. When a judge says sit down in the courtroom, when somebody disrupts the courtroom, they say sit down and be quiet. And there's another outburst. You make one more outburst, I'm going to hold you in contempt. And they say, F you, judge. Okay, you're going to jail. Boom. That's to coerce everybody to comply. The purpose of that, guys get thrown in jail when they don't pay child support, to try and make them comply, which is kind of backwards because if you're in jail, you can't make money to pay your child support. But supposedly that's to fix everything. So this lady took away some time from the dad, and she got found in contempt. Then she turns around and says, well, when we were at those hearings, that one judge said you didn't complete DV, and that was a family law commissioner. So they were wrong. He clarified with a full-blown judge. And now he's saying, you're not letting me have my Tuesday and Thursday. Why? Well, because you didn't complete DV treatment. Well, I clarified it. Well, that's your interpretation of the clarification, and it's really clear. So the dad is doing more contempt. But meanwhile, well, he can't get a contempt hearing for a couple months. It used to be automatically up here. You get a hearing in 2 weeks. But COVID did all the backup and backlogs. And so now the courts have stuff pushed out forever. But he's like, I'm missing out on time. I need an emergency order restraining the mother from the school on Tuesdays and Thursdays so I can go get my kid. Because the dad said, I'll just pick up the kid at the school. She'll go, I'll show up at the school to call the cops, basically entrapping him when it's his visitation time. And of course, the cops will arrest him because she's got a restraining order against him. And they won't care about his visitation rights because they don't enforce that. So, since this guy gets regular consultations with me, he's been on the offensive, he's been fighting, he got her found in contempt, and now he went to court to get an emergency order to prevent her from going to the school. So she's restrained from going to the school, restrained from contacting the child during his visitation time. So now he's got his visitation restored. He had to go through a bunch of extra hoops, but if she violates that, we haven't had one of those visits yet. He's actually getting the kid for Christmas Eve, but which is crazy because she's violating the midweek visits, but letting him have the kid for Christmas Eve, which is on a Tuesday. And because he's a domestic violence perpetrator, but she walks up next to him at visitation. It's just nuts. It's the Twilight Zone. It's a typical. So anyway, so the dad got a restraining order in an emergency courtroom. Most of you won't even try that. If you don't try contempt, you definitely are not trying an emergency motion. Because everybody says, oh, emergency motions are only for physical violence and all that stuff, which is utter bullshit because you can't show me a law or rule that says that. That's just everybody's little, I'm just following the culture and the lead of what everybody's used to doing. That's like saying, okay, I'll just follow Jim Crow laws and think black people need to have their own restaurants and they can't sit at the front of the bus. Why? Because everybody says so. I just follow the crowd. And then so I had another guy in New York call me up. He's got supervised visitation. And the mother alienated the child from him, and the judge didn't consider the alienation. And we found some case law, and I looked for like 5 or 7 minutes during our consult and found case law. The higher court said if a parent's an alienator, they're likely unfit to be a custodial parent. So now he's got a great argument for their upcoming review hearing in a couple weeks. You're missing out if you don't get a consult with me to learn this stuff.